Well, hello there, geography lovers. It's Ms. Walsh coming to you with another Study Helper story. And today we are doing the eastern half of the United States on this study story. And it's going to start with a character that is called Mimal, M-I-M-A-L. And if we look at this map here, you can see that Mimal really stands out with his boots down here in Louisiana and his pants, his stomach with his shirt, his face, and his hat. So if we go to our study story, you can see that Mimal is right here. And so we're starting our story with Mimal. And Mimal was really sneaky. He kept a mini soda in his hat. And you can see here the Minnesota, the state is Minnesota. So Minnesota, Minnesota. And he also loved the Swiss cheese in Wisconsin, Swiss. So here's the Swiss cheese, and Wisconsin is known as the cheese state. You might have heard of Cheeseheads, and that's for a sports team here in Wisconsin, who is famous for cheese. Swiss cheese in Wisconsin. Mimal also had a real eye for Iowa. And if you see here, his eye, his face here, here's his nose and his mouth. His eye is in the state of Iowa. Here is Iowa. And Mimal was in misery. Here's his shirt and his belly. And as you can see, his belly is all bumpy. And it's because he's in misery, because he is sick. And he is sick. You can see right here. And so he got Illinois, in Indiana, Ohio. He got ill in Ohio. So Mimal's stomach was sick, so he got ill. Here's all his illness coming out of his mouth. I know that's gross, but his illness is coming out of his mouth. Illinois, in Indiana, Ohio. He was ill in Ohio. He was so ill that you could see the veins popping out of his head. The veins in Pennsylvania. The veins in his head. Sometimes when you're really sick, you can see the veins in your forehead. So his veins were popping out in Pennsylvania. And he was so sick, and he got sick all over his shirt, that he needed a new jersey. Yes, you're welcome. A new jersey. He needed a new shirt, a new jersey. So we have Mimal is in misery, Missouri. He was ill, Illinois, in Indiana, Ohio. You could see the veins in his head popping out in Pennsylvania, and he was so sick he needed a new jersey. Not an old jersey, but a new jersey. Well, also, it was so unfortunate that he was sick. Why was he sick? He was sick because of the Kentucky Fried Chicken. This state here is Kentucky, and it actually kind of looks like a chicken leg. So he was sick because of the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Unfortunately, he also got some sauce on his pants. Sauce right here in Arkansas. What kind of sauce? Arkansas. He got some Arkansas on his pants. And then his mom, Louisiana, here's Louisiana. His mom, Louise, wore dirty old boots. And Louisiana actually looks like it could be a boot shape. So Louisiana, his mom made him stay in bed for 10 days. Tennessee, 10 days. So he was in bed for 10 days reading magazines. M-A-G-S. Magazines. He was in bed for 10 days reading magazines. M-A-G-S. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina. And if you look at South Carolina, it actually looks like the shape of the S on Superman's chest. The S on Superman's chest looks like the shape of South Carolina. This is South Carolina. Well, what would be north of Carolina? North Carolina. And actually, if you look at this S and remember that this is Superman, Superman heard screaming And what does any superhero do when they hear screaming? They run to the rescue. And it turns out that Caroline, so this is North Carolina, and Virginia were in trouble. They were in trouble because the Wicked Witch of the West Virginia, the Wicked Witch of the West Virginia was giving them a hard time. So Superman, South Carolina came in and rescued Sweet Caroline, North Carolina, and Virginia from the Wicked Witch of the West Virginia. So they were so excited that Caroline married Superman. Well, where did they marry? They married in Maryland. Here's Maryland, Maryland, Maryland. So they got married in Maryland. Well, where did they go on their honeymoon? Where? I'll tell you where. Delaware. They went to Delaware on their honeymoon. Delaware? Yes, Delaware. They went out to dinner to have some new pork in New York City here. Here's New York. Here's New York City, and here's the state of New York. Not old pork, but new pork. And it was so cold on their honeymoon that they had to wear mittens. And Michigan, the state of Michigan here, looks like a mitten. So, to go over our story one last time, you have Mimal, M-I-M-A-L, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Mimal was so sneaky, he hid a Minnesota in his hat, Minnesota. He had an I for Iowa. His eye is on Iowa. He was in such misery, his stomach all bumpy and growling because he was sick. He got ill in Ohio, and he had the vein sticking out of his head in Pennsylvania, and he was so sick all over his stomach that he needed a New Jersey, right in a row right here. Then, why was he sick? He was sick because of the Kentucky Fried Chicken, and he also got sauce on his pants, Arkansas on his pants, and his mom, Louise, in Louisiana, who wore dirty old boots, made him stay in bed for 10 days, Tennessee, and read magazines, M-A-G-S, magazines. And Superman heard screaming, so he went and rescued Sweet Caroline, which is North Carolina, because if this is South Carolina, this is North Carolina. And Virginia were in trouble with the Wicked Witch of the West Virginia. So he rescued them, and Caroline married Superman in Maryland, right here. They went where on their honeymoon? To Delaware. They went out to dinner for some new pork in New York, and they had to wear mittens in Michigan. I hope you like this study story, and I hope it helps you in the quiz. See you next time.